rings, we pound for pound. UFC thrills, stills nights get loud. Big EQP, that's how we get down.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GRP. Back at it on a Thursday. I don't even know what day it is anymore. Pretty much because, I've been out of town and driving. So it might sound a little echoey in here. I'm in a room that's somewhat empty, but I figured I'd record something real quick. Just kind of go over some of the stuff that's been happening in MMA and combat sports, just to give you guys a little something. I wanted to put together a whole video of all of my travels and everything else that's going on, but it's been hectic. It's been hectic. It's been just crazy, man. We got here safe though. We're good to go. Everything that I was hoping would work out fine did work out. I mean, it could have been worse. It definitely could have been worse. So for the most part, everything's good to go. And we've just been working on settling everything in and dealing with everything as it came. There's plenty of things that happened along the way and plenty of mishaps and stuff like that. But it definitely could have been worse. So I can't complain too much. Obviously, I'm sitting in a room. I'm using my phone to, watch, or I'm sorry, to record what's going on for me right now because, it's the best way to do it. I didn't bring any of my stuff with me because I knew there's no fights going on this weekend and I didn't want to deal with trying to get everything back. Most of my stuff is pretty valuable to me and, that's how I run the show. So I have to definitely make sure that I can, keep everything intact. So because we have to fly back home, I didn't bring any of this stuff with me. But the last time I made a video with my phone, it came out pretty good. That was in Vegas, and I just wanted to make sure that I was able to record something and just get it out there. So basically, I've been trying to keep up, trying to catch up with everything that's happened. I'm doing this quickly because we have, plans on things to do tonight. My younger daughter is going to be getting in tonight. She had a flight that should be, getting here, I think like 10 p.m. where we are right now. So I'm in North Carolina. That's where we drove to. So like I said, I have a bunch of video that I collected throughout the drive talking about things that happened, talking about just basically every time I got it past state lines. And, I was just trying to kind of keep up with what was going on. I keep looking up because the screen's up there, but my camera's down here. So it's a little bit different. But I wanted to just put together a quick video talking about the things that I caught up with as far as things going on around combat sports. And there's been a couple things that have happened over the past few days. So I figured I'd get into that real quick. Like, obviously, we know the return of Conor McGregor and Max Holloway. There's been a lot of discussion about that going on because people are anticipating Conor coming back. And with that being said, it's a rematch between him and Max Holloway. So, of course, everyone has their ideas on how things are going to go. Conor and Max fought so long ago. It was when Max was, just starting in the UFC. Same with kind of Conor, but Conor was already, had a lot of hype around him and stuff like that. So everyone has their opinions on what they think is, going to happen. I don't think that the first fight even matters at this point, except for maybe in the mental state of the game with Max knowing that he lost to Conor. But I think Max understands and knows that he's a totally different fighter than he used to be, as well as Conor. So McGregor thinks, that he's better than ever. Of course, he's going to say that. We're used to that. He always comes out talking about how he's the best he's ever been. Is he going to make it to the fight? Because the last time we had a fight scheduled for him, we know what happened. He got injured. He had the foot injury or the toe injury, whatever you want to call it, after he made tons of fun of RDA when he had a foot injury, saying, oh, you stubbed your toe and now you're out of the fight. Well, same thing happened with him. But we also know what happened with everything else that was going on outside of the cage with all of the personal things that were happening with him. So I guess you can't really blame him, I guess. But Also, why didn't we just ever get the fight with Chandler after putting it out there, canceling it, putting it out there, and you know all the anticipation, and it never happened. I doubt Chandler's ever going to get that fight, which sucks for him because he put his career on hold for such a long time to be able to fight Conor because of course he wanted to get that bag. But it ain't happening. I don't think it's ever going to happen. So I'm looking down because I got my notes here because this is all I have to go off of today. I don't have a computer to look at. I don't have my whole setup. So, but that doesn't really matter when it comes down to it. Holloway has obviously been is a fully evolved fighter from the time that he fought Conor last. He's a former champion, BMF champion. I talked about this before, but there's a lot of talk online about the fact that Conor's coming back. All the casuals are all excited and happy. The Irish people are out, out and about, ready for Conor to come back. But I think Max is going to make this a difficult fight on Conor, and I think that when it comes down to it, Conor's got himself into something I'm not sure that he, is ready for, being that he's been laid off for so long with the injury and everything like that. But there's not much else to that story except for the fact that, there's so much hype and talk about it. It's coming in July, International Fight Week. So we'll be ready for that one and waiting. Let's hope that nothing happens to Conor or Max along the way. No injuries, no legal problems, none of that shit. So let's hope that one stays in line. Next up, I don't know if you heard, but ex Bellator fighter Logan Storley, PFL guy, got arrested on sexual battery charge, which is, I don't know, man. It sounds kind of insane, honestly. It pretty much sounds like he was at a strip club and he took an interest in a girl, took her upstairs where apparently that's where you go. It's like the champagne room, except they can get fully naked up there. She took a girl up there with her because she didn't feel comfortable with him. She didn't really want to get left one-on-one with him, but he kind of forced his way around it and all that stuff. And now it turns out that out in the street, he found her when she went to leave, and he winds up getting naked and pretty much assaults her, and people witnessed it, and so he's kind of fucked. And this is the only reason why this is news is because it's just kind of crazy. The way that it went down, he got chased and got apprehended by I guess security there or something, which is crazy. He's an MMA fighter, but he's also naked, running around like an idiot, and uh, and then security or workers there, staff of any sort, apprehend him and basically hold him down until the cops get there, which is absolutely nuts. For and he got released. He got released from the PFL, so who knows what's happening with that? But yeah, I mean that was definitely he's going to be in a lot of trouble for that one. Just felony sexual battery following the alleged incident outside the strip club. So they arrested him Monday morning, and details are still developing. But the thing is I think I saw it was a hefty, bond to get him out, and just the fact that he decided to follow her out of the club or find her outside of the club and do all that and go that far. I mean, he literally uh if he literally um yes, rhymes with grape. um he did that, so that's as far as it went, actually, from what it sounds like, from the details I saw, the things I read, which is crazy. So these fighters need to stop with this shit, man. I mean, I understand you're a person still, but when you're out in the public eye, like doing things like this is crazy to think that you're not gonna get found out. And I mean, even a normal person doing that, it's like, what the fuck are you thinking? Um, like, can he not get girls any other way? Which is, I mean, was he on some shit? Just drunk? Who the fuck knows? But craziness there. But that's really all on that one. The other thing, Clarissa Shields banned by MVP because of she got into it with Alicia Baumgardner while at the MVP MMA card. Now this was something I didn't even know about until after the fact. just because I wasn't, somehow or another, it just I didn't track on that. But when it happened, apparently she slapped Alicia Baumgartner during a verbal altercation, and it happened, obviously at the MVP card. Um, they say that the confrontation escalated physically and security had to intervene. She basically just reached out and kind of slapped her while people were like all up in the mix. I don't really know, what the hell they were fighting about, arguing about, whatever. But in the end, she decided to slap her. And, they obviously have um they obviously have beef already. Uh and that's kind of did they do it to kind of give hype to a matchup between them, or do they actually hate each other? What the hell were they fighting about? Those are the things that I don't even know. But for it to escalate like that, and for MVP to go out there and put out a statement saying something like, they won't stand for this kind of stuff. If you're gonna fight, you fight in the cage or you fight in the ring. But at their events, you're not allowed to get into altercations like this. So basically, until further notice, she's banned. I would assume they try to make a matchup between her and Baumgartner and try to make that happen after this, especially. That might be the way they want to go, but who knows? So really, that's really all there was about that one. I just thought it was interesting the way that MVP went about, you know, putting out the statement saying that what they were going to do and how they were going to handle the situation and all that shit. So we'll see if they handle that in the future, if there is future MVP cards, because Nikisa Badarian saying that basically he is 100% all in on MVP and having that happen and continue to happen. So, we'll have to wait and see how they handle a second event and what they do with other situations like this, because when you have all kinds of fighters out there, shit like this is going to happen. We saw Namo Fazil and Armin Sarukian get into it, and then there was videos of Armin, and his whole crew coming to the back and trying to find him, while Nikisa and Jake are trying to calm everything down. Not really Jake. Jake was like, shit, let him scrap. But you know how Jake is. That's what he does. But Nikisa was definitely trying to keep that from happening. They had all kinds of security back there and stuff. So these types of fucking things happen all the time at all these events. So we'll see if they keep up with banning people, if they have other events and all that kind of shit. But that was interesting. Another big interesting thing that went down is that Scott Coker is back. Apparently, he's launching a new MMA organization of his own, and obviously we didn't have anything coming from Scott Coker for a while because he kind of had a non-compete after Bellator went away. I'm sure he had a non-compete. That's kind of what happened before with everything else that he's did, like with Strikeforce and all that. But now he's saying he's back, and by 2027, he's saying there's going to be a new MMA organization that's coming out there to become uh, a league that's going to focus on fighter respect and competitive integrity. Those were his words. So 2027 launch, we'll see if that actually happens. It's interesting because Bellator's collapse left a major opening in the market for legitimate UFC alternative, even though PFL tried to fill that void. Obviously, MVP MMA is coming through. Um, and PFL's still around. MVP MMA will be here. We got the UFC is the leading organization, and now in 2027 we're gonna apparently have Scott Coker starting his own organization. He's got $60 million in funding to help fund this project, partially funded by, of all people, Tony Hawk, which is kind of crazy. I didn't know Tony Hawk was into combat sports that much, but who knows? Maybe he's just a friend of Coker and wants to jump in on this. But there's a lot of things that go along with this, and that's a lot of it has to do with what kind of fighters is he going to get? Is it going to be another Bellator? Is it going to be how is he going to compete with MVP MMA after supposedly they had such a outstanding viewership for their first card, and is it going to be something that's going to be legitimate, or is it going to be another GFL? You know what I mean? Is $60 million enough to sustain the organization? Like, how are you going to pay $60 million? Isn't a lot of money when it comes down to thinking about production, staff, and paying the fighters, medicals, all venues, all that shit. So yeah, that 60 mil, how sustainable is it, or is that just a jump off to get everything going, and he's hoping for more investors, more, funding past that? That's the question. And also, where's he going to get all the fighters? Like, who's he gonna sign? Of course, there's always going to be people that jump around. There's always going to be people that don't have or aren't stuck in a contract or anything like that. So that might be where he gets his fighters. Is it sustainable? I don't know. But it's exciting because Scott Coker, obviously, Strikeforce, and then Bellator, and now this new venture. So he's been successful enough in other things to make me think that it's possible for him to do well. It's just we've seen the GFL try to start up and then went away and is just lingering there in obscurity. Still kind of posting on Instagram here and there, saying that they're coming still, but yeah, I don't know. And now we got MVP MMA starting up. And speaking of MVP MMA, they obviously had what they call massive numbers. 17 million viewers globally at its peak, 12.4 million viewers across the triple main event block, basically. So during those three main events, Ngannou versus Lins, uh, Diaz versus Perry, and Carano and Rousey, it peaked at 12.4 million. Uh, oh, I'm sorry. 11.6 million was the peak for the three main event, the three main headliners, three headliners. That's what I'm trying to say. 9.3 million viewers averaging. So then the average of the main card in total was 12.4 million, with 17 million as a peak. I mean, those are pretty good numbers, but the thing is how, how do you even, I don't know, man. These numbers are crazy. Netflix, we knew we were gonna get crazy numbers, but we gotta wait and see how is the White House card event gonna trend in numbers. How is International Fight Week gonna work out? Because now Connor's coming back and he's constantly been their biggest viewed fighter. Every time he is in an event, he has all the records. So we'll see how it stacks up against this MVP MMA card, but according to Nikisa Badarian, those are good enough numbers for him to justify continuing on with MMA. So those are interesting things, especially when you have Scott Coker coming out saying he's going to start up a new organization to, you know, go up against all these other organizations that are trying to compete with the UFC. And of course, the main goal is to compete with the UFC. And his plan is to 100% compete with the UFC. That's his going to be his plan for sure. So other than that, though, not a whole lot else going on. We got Alexander Usyk versus Rico Verhoeven happening this weekend. They're fighting in. It's set near the pyramids of Giza. We saw face-offs with them in front of the pyramids, which is crazy. And that's just a weird ass location, but also very fucking cool. I guess just being in a big time venue isn't big enough. Now we have to go to the pyramids. But it's a big fight. It is a big fight. And I guess we'll see how Rico does in boxing. He's obviously an elite kickboxer, but Usyk is up there as well. And obviously has the, you know, he's established in boxing. Verhoeven is not. This will be the first time really fighting an elite boxer like that. First time fighting in boxing ever, I think. But anyway, kickboxing, boxing, some people might think it's pretty similar, but at the same time, when you intervene with the kicks, it's a whole different thing. So who knows how that's going to go. But I thought it was interesting that they were doing the face-offs in front of the pyramids. Pretty fucking dope. full transition from elite kickboxing into boxing. Usyk is obviously one of the most technical heavyweights alive. It's a full-on spectacle at this point, but obviously because of the venue and all that, um, how's Rico's size and kickboxing experience gonna, translate into the pure boxing aspect of combat sports? And is it even going to be competitive? You know what I mean? I'm sure Rico's so well established. Everybody knows how good he is in kickboxing. I feel like he's going to have um, some skills in boxing that are going to work for him. But does that work against somebody as elite as Usyk? That's the question. So that's something that you can watch this weekend. As far as anything else goes, like I said, I've been busy, busy, busy. So I just wanted to get something put out there, even if it's a short one. This is obviously like a third of what my show usually is, but I wanted to get something out there for you guys. And I wanted to include all of the other videos and stuff, but I just haven't had time to edit everything and put it together, but I will, and you'll see it. But for now, this is all I got for you. 20 minutes of quick run through, but at least it's something, right? You know what I'm saying? So you might hear the dogs barking in the background. I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna wrap it up there. And I just wanted to get this out there and give you guys something. So please make sure everybody that's in the chat, usually, I apologize for not being live. Obviously, you guys knew that I was going to be gone. So please do me a favor, interact with this video. Drop a like in there. If you haven't subscribed already and you like what you saw, do that. I always give a shout out to Noctane for the sponsorship. I do have my Noctane here. I didn't use it because it's not in this room with me. But yeah, and please drop a comment below. Let me know, let me know if you want to hear about anything else coming up for Sunday. If there's any other news I didn't cover in that short period of time, and let me know what you think about what I did cover. The Netflix numbers, the new organization with Scott Coker. Obviously, Connor and Max is a continuing conversation, and Alicia Baumgartner and Clarissa Shields, their beef going on, and then Alexander Usyk versus Rico Verhoeven. Are you watching? Who you got? And how do you think Rico's going to do against Usyk? So drop anything about any of those topics or any other topics that are going on around there that you might want me to talk about on Sunday. Drop it in the comments below, and make sure you like this video before you go. All right. That's it for me. I'm out of here. Take it easy. And I will be back on Sunday with something for you, or maybe before if I get to editing videos before that. All right. Thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate all you guys. I'm out of here. Take it easy. Peace.